Okay, we need to start talking about restaurant prices in America. Has anyone noticed how insane these prices are getting? And they're only getting more and more crazy by the day. For instance, a bowl of Chipotle that used to be $8, $9 now is pushing almost $20 in some states. And I think more importantly, what scares me even more is most Americans just seem to be quietly accepting this fact that this is the way it is, then prices are this high for a reason. So some people don't even think it's unreasonable. Prices in some of these restaurants have nearly doubled in just 4 or 5 years. And people by and large are not pushing back against these ridiculous prices by these restaurants. I think this problem of overpriced restaurants is more of a problem than people even realize, because they could be wasting thousands of dollars a year on these overcharged items.
We need to do something about the fact that where you go to eat now, the cheapest place you go to eat now, even fast food places, it's $23. Why is it only $23?
Stop spending money that you don't have on things that you don't need. I feel like at this point I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to continue to say it until maybe it gets through some of you guys' heads. I've cut back on eating out a lot because for whatever reason, that price is astronomical. You can't go out to lunch without dropping at least $40, and dinner for me and my girlfriend is usually around $100. I'm not telling you not to treat yourself. I'm not telling you not to enjoy the little things in life. Whether you're cooking meals at home or meal prepping for lunch for the week, every dollar saved for a rainy day is a good day. And quite literally, it feels like rainy days are happening every day. Even with my 9 to 5 that's stable, I get paid well, and I'm also frugal, it still feels like it isn't enough. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Let's see how much the prices have changed in over 20 years. This is 2005, 2015, and current 2025. What's a typical price for a burger where you're at? Like fresh burgers. We do fresh here. Breakfast prices back in 2025. Shout out to my mom for naming a meal after me. This is what I ate every single day. This is what my brother ate. And then this one was my grandma's. These menus don't have breakfast on them, so let's go to lunch. Let's start with 2005 hamburgers, $2.25 on burger nights. They were $1.25. In 2015, they were $2.95. I'm not sure what burger night was. And then current, they are $4.50. And then on burger nights, we do $3.25. I think the sides are probably the biggest jump. Like the cheese balls were $2.75 back in 2005. In 2015, they were $3.75. And now they're $5.50. And we like barely make any money on cheese balls. Instead of reading all these, if you guys want to pause them and look, this is 2005's, 2015's, and the back, and current prices, and the back.
I think we can all agree that eating at a restaurant has become like ridiculously priced in the past few years. We cook at home most of the times, but like, we like to go out like once or twice a week. And I honestly feel like me and my husband, cannot go out to lunch or dinner without spending $50+ and we don't even drink. A couple months ago now, like me and my husband kind of just looked at each other after going to like, an moderately priced restaurant and being like, that like was not worth it. And we kind of just decided then and there that we were either going to go like the fast casual chain restaurant route or go to a really nice restaurant where we knew that we were going to get a great meal and it'd be worth what we were paying for. This has kind of helped with that balance of like, sometimes we don't want to cook. Sometimes we want like a great experience, but like we weren't getting that like value out of going to the mediocre restaurant and it being like worth our money. So if you kind of feel like how we do, I don't know, this might be something to help your budget or just kind of like help your sanity in these times where like you can't get a reasonably priced meal at a restaurant.
Okay, so I'm at a Mexican restaurant having some lunch, and the receipt comes out, and they say it's a service fee for serving the customer. Now, this right here gonna take the cake. Okay, so I'm down now, and the receipt says service fee for serving the customer. What's a service fee for serving the customer? What is that? Now, I'm not even in Atlanta. Now, in Atlanta, I know for a fact they charge all types of fees on your receipt. But in the suburbs, you don't really charge them fees on your receipts. of miscellaneous fees that y'all just coming up with. Because see, if you start charging miscellaneous fees of all different sorts out in the suburbs, the next thing you know, the suburbs might start charging us to park out there in the parking lot. And we ain't paying to park in the parking lot. Okay? Now I know y'all know what I'm talking about. All these service fees. We ain't paying no service fees. Not in the burbs. We're not paying service fees.
Since tipping culture has gotten insane in the United States, this is a list of things I will tip for and things I will not tip for. And this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I will tip my food delivery drivers, whether that be DoorDash or Uber Eats. But if my food comes with something missing, if it is delayed and it comes cold, or if you don't follow delivery instructions, I'm not going to tip you. Like if I ask you to leave the food at the door and you keep blowing up my phone to come outside to walk to your car to pick up my food, I'm not tipping you anymore. If I ordered a large fries and chicken nuggets and the fries is halfway done, no drink in my meal, I'm not tipping. And don't even get me started when the drive be taking mad long. I don't even know how that happens, but one time I ordered food and it legit took 2 hours to get to me. I'm not tipping for that. Any other thing I will tip for. Another thing I will not tip for are food services that I provide to myself. If I go to a froyo place and I make the froyo myself, I add my own toppings, why would I then get to the front of the register and you switch the register to me to tip? You didn't do anything for me but ring me up. I'm not tipping for that. And the reason I feel this way is because when I was in high school, I worked like a bullshit job where I was literally at the kiosk and I did not do anything. So I didn't expect people to tip me if they were doing all their food services by themselves. Another thing I will not tip for are certain beauty services. Like if I'm paying you to get my hair done and all that cash is going to you, I will not tip, especially if y'all have a cancellation fee, a late fee, and then you guys show up late to my appointment, you expect me to pay for that? No. Don't get me wrong, I tip servicers if the service is excellent. Like I will send extra money. But if you inconvenienced me in any single way and I'm still paying full price, I do not feel the need to tip. One thing that I do tip for that I feel like the common population does not tip for are people who pump my gas. So I live in New York and it's not common for people to pump gas, but I will literally drive the extra 3 blocks, 4 blocks, whatever, to go to a gas station so that they can pump my gas for me. I know it's extra. I will literally tip the guys that pump my gas because they're literally doing manual labor. They're doing something that I don't want to do for myself. So yeah, I'll tip them. And then around Christmas time or when it's winter and it's colder, I tip them even extra because they're standing out in the cold when I don't want to do that, or if it's raining too. Finally, I always tip at sit-down restaurants because I know in the United States it's so messed up, they do not get paid enough. But if the service is bad, I am not gonna tip, and I'm gonna stand by that. Tipping is supposed to be gratitude for the service, but if the waiter comes and they're rude or something is wrong, I'm not tipping for that. For example, I was in a very, very, very expensive restaurant in Miami not too long ago, and one of the waiters legit poured an entire bottle of wine on one of the people that was at my table. They were also wearing all white. And then instead of making this issue a better thing, the managers came and they were trying to default. Like, no, I'm not doing that. You spilled a whole entire bottle of wine on one of the guests. I'm not tipping. But yeah, let me know if you guys want a part 2 about things I will tip and not tip for.
You know what the worst thing is after a wonderful night is when you get charged a kitchen fee, 4% kitchen fee. What the fuck is that? Here we go again. So this happened again here in California in Santa Monica. Had a great night. We were celebrating. The food was great. I mean, we had no idea that so many things. So we ordered 2 shots of tequila and we were like, oh, house tequila is fine. We got charged $36 for 2 shots. What the F? And then not only that, that's like $18 a shot. Not to mention the kitchen fee, 4%. I mean, the food was good and all, but like, come on. Like, why do you do that? No one even informed us about this. And then as soon as the check arrives, you know, they come with like the actual machine and they make you like select the tip option right away. And the lowest tip option is 20%, 22%, 25%. I mean, that's okay. But like, if 20% is like the minimum you guys require on top of the 4% and the tax that you added on top of that, and the $18 shot, I wasn't happy about that. But we had such a great night, but that just left a bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? Who else is having the same problem? I'm sure a lot of people are. But another thing that I want to mention is that here in California, everyone gets paid minimum wage at least, which is like $15-16 at this point. In West Hollywood, minimum wage is $19.50 now, guys. So I have a friend who quit her management job to be a server here in California because you can make a lot of money. And now we're like, tip is like 25% minimum and then 10% tax. Like, that's a fucking lot of money. You know what I mean? A little frustrated about this.
Where is the craziest place you've seen asking for tips? Like, what is the craziest business that you've come across that have asked you to tip? Because, like, I think tipping culture is getting so nuts. It's getting way out of control. These corporations are so greedy that they're wanting us to supplement their workers so that they can take home more money at the end of the day, which is BS. And I've seen comments online of people being like, I went to go get my tires rotated and there was a tip option at the end of it. Like, what? So I'm just curious, like, what is the craziest business that you've seen asking for a tip?
Going out to eat is a luxury, not a necessity.
I think we can all agree that eating at a restaurant has become like ridiculously priced in the past few years. We cook at home most of the times, but like, you know, we like to go out like once or twice a week. And I honestly feel like me and my husband, cannot go out to lunch or dinner without spending $50+ and we don't even drink. A couple months ago now, like me and my husband kind of just looked at each other after going to like, you know, an moderately priced restaurant and being like, that like was not worth it. And we kind of just decided then and there that we were either going to go like the fast casual chain restaurant route or go to a really nice restaurant where we knew that we were going to get a great meal and it'd be worth what we were paying for. This has kind of helped with that balance of like, you know, sometimes we don't want to cook. Sometimes we want like a great experience, but like we weren't getting that like value out of going to the mediocre restaurant and it being like worth our money. So if you kind of feel like how we do, I don't know, this might be something to help your budget or just kind of like help your sanity in these times where like you can't get a reasonably priced meal at a restaurant.
I think it's unfair when someone chooses a really expensive restaurant for a birthday dinner, and it's causing this disagreement with the friend right now, where for his birthday he chose a restaurant and the cheapest entree is $41, and so I didn't go, and now he's mad at me. The reason I decided not to go is because the plan was dinner and then going out, and the place he chose to go out already had a $35 ticket, and I am a little bit broke as it is, so I was like, okay, I'll skip the dinner and then just go out. I thought that was a good compromise because I would still be seeing him on his birthday, and the dinner just wasn't appealing to me. Like, the item I would actually get on the menu was $47, because the $41 item was a burger, just like the burger and the patty, and it was like, I had fries for $11, and you know at a fine dining restaurant, a burger is just gonna be like 3 bites, and I also don't eat red meat. But when I met them out after the dinner, it was clear that the vibe was a little bit off, and a mutual friend was like, yeah, he was talking shit, like kind of mad that you didn't go. And I was like, yeah, I don't really know what to say. I'm not really looking to spend the equivalent of a week of grocery money on a single night out. Like, I think I made a fair compromise, so I don't know what to tell you. And it's not like I ditched him. There were other people at his dinner, but I'm pretty sure none of them actually wanted to go to this restaurant, because who wants to spend a lot of money on shitty food with small portions? I guess I was just the only one to speak up and be like, yeah, that doesn't really work for me, but I'll meet you out after. It's just like, read the room. Like, yeah, it's your birthday, but you should know like if your friends are going to be happy at where you choose. So yeah, I stand by my decision. I don't think your birthday is about like doing the biggest, fanciest thing. It's about like having fun with your friends and doing something you like.
Our restaurant bill had a 4% charge for health insurance or staff wellness. And I've been seeing this on the receipts of restaurants all over San Diego. They're allowed to put it on there, but you can't be forced to pay it. If you ask them to take it off, they have to remove it. I've also seen some places put a $2 water donation fee if you drink water. There's a new California law, SB 478, that's supposed to go into effect July 1st, that's supposed to block these junk fees. Basically saying they're not allowed to advertise a lower fee and then tack off junk fees that you didn't know or expect, except for government taxes and government fees. So to me, that sounds like they're going to have to embed it into the price of food, and they won't be able to put these health care wellness 4% surcharges on our bills anymore. But have you seen that in other states besides California? The big thing is you don't have to pay that surcharge, that 4%. It says, it's supposed to say on the bottom of your receipt, please ask the server for this to be removed if you do not want to pay. But that's putting the customer in a really awkward place. It's already awkward enough that they make you fill out the tip thing in front of the server as they pass you the touchscreen swiper, and they're just waiting and looking at you saying, I hope you have a great day. Anyway, if we go into a restaurant and know that we're going to have to pay 20% for tip, 4% for a surcharge, you basically have to look at the price of a meal and say, okay, I have to add 25% on top of that. And taxes.
This restaurant's under fire because of an added entertainment fee, but if you don't know me, I'm Jay and I talk all things business. A customer after leaving the restaurant noticed that they were charged a 2 live band entertainment fee, so he was charged $10 per person for a band fee. The customer felt slighted because 1, he wasn't told about this fee, and 2, he had never heard about this type of fee from a restaurant. Cats responded to these comments on the Instagram page stating that they will add this fee to help enhance the customer's experience. As a business owner myself, I understand how charges can add, but I think the best way to implement this is not do the fee because that just upsets people. I think they would have a greater time just adding $2 extra to each of the menu items, and 1, they would definitely make up the price of the entertainment fee, and 2, people would be upset by seeing a fee on their receipt.
Okay, please tell me the name of this restaurant so I can remember to never go and eat there. Frankly, I don't know how people are not more outraged by this. You can't just charge a random $20 band fee like this without telling people. This is absolutely ridiculous, and it's only part of the problem of restaurants being greedy and just overcharging people fees on top of fees on top of fees. I mean, I've seen some restaurants charge something called an inflation adjustment fee, which if you think about it doesn't make any sense because their prices should already reflect the inflation. That's why they're setting them $30, $40 that used to be just $20 5 years ago. I think at some point people need to call it out like what it is. It's just these greedy restaurants trying to milk every dollar out of their customers. In my opinion, this is not a good long-term strategy because eventually customers will start rebelling against these prices and they'll stop eating at that restaurant and the restaurant's gonna suffer because of it.